begin tonight, I wanted to say thank you all to our leadership and our administrators across the district who have been working diligently on plans that continue to change as information changes. I know this has been a difficult summer, and I believe that everyone is doing the best that we can to do what's right for our students and our teachers and our community. And like every other teacher in the district, I want to get back in the classroom. I think about my students. I know that some of them have incredibly difficult times at home. I know they miss their friends. I know that they need some sense of normalcy, and I just miss them. We all do. And you know, Dr. Gillum has said in our conversations multiple times that teachers are nurturers and planners. And not being able to take care of our kids in that way, in the way that we normally can, or being able to plan for what that will look like, is incredibly difficult given who we are. And he's not wrong. This has been rough. However, as much as we want to get back to our kids, we don't feel safe doing it. We don't feel safe for our students that we want so desperately to see. We don't feel safe for our own children, who many of them are also students in our schools. We don't feel safe for our families, and we don't feel safe for ourselves. MCEA sent out a survey to our members, and of the over 400 responses we received, 80% of our teachers do not feel safe returning to in-person instruction. 80%. Look, we're team players. We always have been. That's a huge part of who we are, and we're used to flying a plane in the midst of being built. It's the nature of this education game. But 80% of our teachers are asking that we don't return to in-person instruction because we don't feel safe. I know that there's a lot of conversation in the community about essential workers and the sacrifices that they have made due to this pandemic, and that's absolutely true. However, that is not the situation for teachers. While each school's specific plan differs on how we will meet guidelines, we know this. We will be in the classrooms with students for extended hours. And while desks may be 6 feet apart, the reality of the situation is that masks will come off, kids will forget to put them on, kids will pull them down and cough outside of them, kids will walk to the pencil sharpener and forget their mask. The list goes on. We all know this. All of this will be happening in classrooms with poor ventilation systems for extended amounts of time. Health officials have stated that there's a higher rate of spread after exposure for 10 minutes, and we will be in the room with students for hours. Our teachers at Madison Kindergarten Academy are in a building where none of those students are required to wear masks. It's understandable that we're concerned. We asked on the survey how many of our teachers were at risk or lived with someone who was at risk. Of the 400 plus teachers who responded, 69%, that's 281 teachers, are high risk or live with someone who is high risk. There have not been and perhaps can't be alternate options for these 281 teachers, and unfortunately we've heard multiple responses from across the district with teachers who are concerned about their at-risk status, that their options are to resign, retire, or return. Is this the message that we want coming from Madison County? Because I know that it's not representative of who we are as a district, but it's problematic that these are the options that some of our teachers have been told. As a member of this community, a mother of 3 children, all of whom attend our schools, I understand the frustrations, the fears, and concerns that we have. We all know that our kids need to be back in school. We know that the mental health impacts that this quarantine has had on all of us, and we want social interaction for our kids. But do you really know what you're asking our kids to walk back into? And let me brag for a minute about my principal. I teach at Madison Central, and Brandon Fritz and our whole administrative team they've just done an amazing job with our plans, absolutely amazing. Creative problem-solving solutions, it's been great. And they figured out how to move mountains, and I'm proud that I have such a dedicated group of people leading me through this and leading our school through this. But the problem is not something that they can change. Kids will be walking back into a world that is so incredibly structured and almost prison-like. Any health risk we take to meet the needs of the mental health toll will be null and void because this isn't anything like what they know. Kids won't be allowed to leave their assigned desks. They won't be allowed to interact with their friends like they normally would. No hugging, no hand-holding, walking down the hallway in one direction and 6 feet apart, eating lunch in a classroom, and not being able to be close to your friends or to interact with friends who aren't in your class. not being able to see the smiles of your friends' faces or high-five them, or to even chat with your girlfriend at a locker. This isn't a normal situation, and this isn't going to be healthy for our students. So given the circumstances, given the fact that we are in a widespread scenario where contact tracing is ineffective, given the fact that EKU classes will be starting shortly, and it's inevitable that our case count will increase, and given the fact that our teachers, who are the boots on the ground, who are where the rubber meets the road, and who always rise to every occasion that is asked of them, are saying that they overwhelmingly do not feel safe returning to in-person instruction, as the president of this organization of educators, we are asking that we begin the school year in a virtual learning environment until we begin to see numbers decline. It is our suggestion that we begin virtually for the first 6 weeks of school and reevaluate the situation at the October board meeting. It is imperative that a decision be made on this quickly, and Dr. Gillum is right. We are planners, and right now, your teachers are working nonstop and trying to figure out how to teach in a classroom that is socially distanced, how to develop group work activities, how to teach at learning centers that aren't allowed to have manipulatives, or how to have carpet time without carpet. Our energy is focused there, and while we do move mountains every day, we need time to focus and learn how to effectively do online instruction at all levels. That preparation time is essential because while we do know that we will be back in our classrooms at some point, and the preparation we're doing for that new world is important, it is inevitable that we will also be on an extended virtual learning this year. Whether we go back to school for a couple weeks, risk the spread, the infection, and the death of our students or education professionals, and then decide to go virtual, or if we decide to begin virtually and work our way back into an in-person climate, either way, we will be virtual this year. The last question on our survey was asking if teachers felt prepared to teach effectively online. 61% of our teachers say they do, but they need more time and more training and resources to prepare. We are asking you for that time. We do not want to deliver crisis mode instruction like we had to during the spring. Help us do our jobs effectively while keeping your students, your teachers, your education professionals, and your community safe.